If any relationship we engage in doesn't fit with what we are as people, we will feel emotionally contradicted by that relationship and therefore be psychologically damaged by the way we feel. Hi there. I'm research psychologist Roger Follansbee, and I'd like to talk to you about why we think, feel, and do the things we do. But to do that, we first have to know how we're psychologically put together or structured. So let's talk about that for a minute. It's pretty interesting. As it turns out, we humans are structured exactly the same way that existence itself is structured. So since we exist too, whatever existence tends to do, we'll probably tend to do as well. For example, the very first thing that we know about existence is that nothing can exist alone. Existence isn't just a singular notion. It's a relational one. In other words, in order for anything to exist, it has to exist with something else. That means that if we want to exist, we have to exist with something else as well. Indeed, our entire lives depend on the relationships we have from the very first breath we take until the last. So let's figure out how and why this works. The way it does is going to fascinate, I think, pretty much everybody. We'll take what I'm about to tell you directly from my book, It's Not Your Fault. So that's my plug for the day. It's Not Your Fault is available on Amazon. Just put my name in there as well. There are other books with the same title. So, let's have a look. Since we're relational beings, there are some vital facts about life that it's best we know right from the get-go. First of all, just like everything else on this planet of ours, we are truly dependent on the relationships we have. This is because we are relational beings. So our lives depend not only on who we are genetically, but everything else around us as well. What that means is that what really causes our psychological pains and problems is not just due to who we are genetically, but who and what we relate to, like people and things, experiences, events, everything. We can't just depend on ourselves. There is no such thing as ourselves and ourselves alone. Our entire lives depend on everything else around us and how we relate to everything around us. So once again, all of us living things are relational beings. So our lives are not only dependent on our genetic makeup, but on the world around us as well. It's no wonder we pay so much attention to everything and everyone else. Our lives depend on them. The next thing we should keep in mind is that we show up to this life with a ton of genetic baggage. Moods, habits, likes and dislikes, tendencies and fears, all those things that we have inherited from our parents, a distant uncle or a cousin, or anyone who formed a part of our recent and distant past is now part of who we are. Now, if you're wondering how we can discover who that is, how we can discover who we are, there's one quick and totally accurate way of doing just that. Identifying who each one of us is. Here's the secret. You can very quickly discover who you are by evaluating all the things you like or dislike. Then take note of all the wishes you have and your fears. And that's about as close as anyone can get to knowing who you really are in the end. If you still want to go further, just find a good therapist and he or she will take you the rest of the way. Now you might say, okay, that's fine, but what does that have to do with my behavior? Here's the secret. If any relationship we engage in doesn't fit with what we are as people, we will feel emotionally contradicted by that relationship and therefore be psychologically damaged by the way we feel. How will we react to feeling this way? We'll logically try to hurt what has hurt us. For example, if Jack insults Sally, Sally will try to insult Jack in return. I hit you, you hit me. It's a normal relational response. Now then, these relational responses can also get a little more involved than just that. For example, let's take your boss. He reprimands you for the work you've done. Well, it's sometimes not a good idea to reprimand him back. After all, he's your boss. But you can reprimand someone else. Your boss came from your outside relational world. So it's that outside relational world where you're going to look to get back at the contradiction you just received from your boss. So it's logical to think that if your outside world has hurt you and you're a relational being, you'll try to put things right by hurting someone or something from that outside world. After all, whatever hurt you came from there, so it'll be there that you'll look for some kind of relief. Ever wonder why when your father, mother, or best friend, lover, or soccer coach is in a bad mood, they might take that bad mood of theirs out on you? That's right. Something negative or contradictory that has happened to them from the outside world must have happened to them, and you're right there in that same outside world. So you may turn out to be an angry person's easiest target to clear out some of the revenge that person may feel. When our needs and wants are satisfied by our outside world, we're happy campers. But when what we need or want, in other words, the people we are, is denied us, we're not happy campers anymore. And in order to put everything back into place, we may deny the needs and wants of someone else. Sometimes anyone will do. We'll just have to get back on our relational keel. And the only way we can do that is by searching for someone from that outside world of ours, that relational point or object world, to pay for the bad time we just were exposed to. So is there any more palatable way of dealing with relational contradiction and pain than harming someone else when we feel that we've been harmed ourselves? Yes, there is. You can learn how to combat contradictions constructively as opposed to destructively. For example, when you meet contradiction with more contradiction, you haven't really resolved much of anything. You've just made yourself feel temporarily satisfied, but little else. You get stuck in a loop where there's no resolution at all. I hurt you, you hurt me, it escalates, and now the battle is on. That's not constructive. That's destructive. Knowing how we are psychologically pieced together, however, or structured, can help us control the way we need to move positive through a life full of contradiction. That's the primary goal of structured psychology. Help us all live together in constructive, happier ways. Let's talk about the way we're all structured. Structured psychology is a super simple way of understanding the human condition. It only looks complicated. In reality, we only have 3 basic things to keep in mind. For example, at the starting point, we should remember that we are purely relational beings. So life is really all about how we relate to other things and other people, and the way those other people and other things relate to us. We either feel supported by our relationships or we feel contradicted by them. And the way we choose to treat other things and other people that we are in relationship with can make those relationships either harmonious or combative. It's about understanding how we ourselves are impacted by the behavior of other people and other things around us, and how our behavior impacts those same things and people. In other words, structured psychology is all about life and how we can best get through it. If we can bridge the gap of understanding between how important relational messaging can be, we can prepare ourselves for far less painful lives.